got to get. And listen, I know you look at us in the state we in right now. Call me out, SHALAM. Call me out, SHALAM. I know you look at us in the state we in right now. Black people on drugs, and we suffering and dying. And I know it seems like you can do whatever you want to these people. I know it seems like this, but the time for glorifying yourself is soon at an end. Let me say one thing for water, brother. Let me tell you, you see this young man right here? This young man is the prime example that we need stronger black men in the house. Let me tell you something. If we don't start raising these kids, all our children are gonna end up to be young, feminine faggots that don't care about the murder of their own people. This black man just said, show me that sign. You hand me the sign. Hand me the sign. I gotta tell you, this brother right here just said, this is ignorant. This brother just said that slavery, the murder of 99 black people don't matter. The murder of 99 million black people doesn't matter anymore. The lynching of 3,000 black people over 2 years. Well, listen, with your man right here said it didn't matter.
I never said it didn't matter. I said, how long will you be stuck on?
I said, how long will you be stuck on? In the house, probably been molested. This brother like that probably been molested. Probably never had a male role model that was ever a real man around the house. So when he sees us, he thinks that we evil. Let me tell you something, brother. This is evil. That's right. Not us. What doesn't happen to you in America?
So why are you stuck on? Why are you stuck on?
God is stuck on. God cares about your life. God cares about your murder.
Are you God?
Galatians 6 and 7.
Are you God?
This book
are you God?
is inspired
by
God. And we are here to represent His word.
I know why
you don't get molested and turn into a weak sissy. No goddamn.
Well, guess what? I've never been molested. Guess what? I'm more of a man than you will be. Let me tell you why.
God requires a man to be a man. You understand? And let me tell you something. Our black men done been grind down into powder in America. So much so that we listen, let me tell you something. The primary job of any man is to defend his family.
Right.
Nigga, this is your family. That's right. Your job is to care. And if you was a man of God, you would. But you've been beat, you've been ground down, and you done lost your way. And because of that, you're soft. That's right. And now you see men that are not. Now, for the first time in your life, you see a man that is willing and ready to die. And you think it's evil. And you think it's wrong. When meanwhile, that's what you done lacked your whole life, is a man that was willing to stand up. A man that was willing to stand up is what you've lacked your whole life. Or you got one today. Or you got one today. Be not deceived. You believe in God, right?
Yes, sir.
Read. God is not mocked. The Lord said He's not mocked. This is Galatians, the New Testament. The Lord said He is not mocked. What does it mean to be mocked? God ain't going to say that in the Bible and give judgments in the Bible, and you go against them, and nothing happens to you. All right, let the noise go.
Oh, say that again. Oh, say that again.
Let God say.
Let
you believe in God.
Read
Let
the
the Lord
all the way over. Go ahead.
Be not deceived. God is not mocked.
Stop. Stop.
For whatsoever a man sows.
Stop.
That again. For whatsoever a man sows.
If God's not to be mocked,
for whatsoever a man sows.
Why y'all standing out here to
what
copy?
Does it mean to be mocked?
To copy, to try to be like someone else.
What does it mean to be mocked?
To copy what he's doing and try to take the stance of him. No, it's not.
No,
so why you out here judging?
This is what it means to be mocked. It means to be made fun of. That's what it means to be mocked. To be mocked is not the same as that.
Well, y'all said y'all don't care about any other religion. So what's that?
Read it again.
Huh?
For whatsoever a man soweth, simple, man. That shall he also reap. The Lord said, whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Meaning this, God ain't gonna let you do something against him and nothing happen to you. That ain't how he works, man. Why? Because he don't want you to try to mock him, to make fun of him, to say God ain't nothing. And there's a law in the Bible against slavery. Give me Revelation 13 and 9 and 10. And give me the law in the Old Testament about stealing a man. Don't you see? Everything you see in America is against God's law. The homosexuality, the eating pork and the eating shrimp, the having black men be so weak up under their women. All these things are against the Bible. And we out here to tell you, because God sent us out here to young, simple niggas just like you. You know why? Because I used to be with him. I used to be one of you. I was walking up and down the street, acting like a damn fool, didn't know my head from my damn shoe, until one day I started going in this book and found real men to teach me how to be a real man. And that's why we're here today. It matters when you die. Don't you understand? It matters when you get killed. Listen, 3,000 people. 3,000 people died over 9/11.
How long we
3,000. After that, America bombed 2 countries. America killed hundreds and thousands of people, over 3,000. Meanwhile, 99 million black people died during the time of slavery, and you think it don't matter. You know what? Because the only life that matters to you is the white man's heart. That's right. The only heart that matters to you is the white man's heart. That's the only feelings that mattered to you was the white man's heart. And it ain't your fault, brother. You've been destroyed. You've been hurt. You've been broken and you've been beat. And listen, and the Lord sent us out here today to build you back up again. Now,
I just want to know, how much do you love your country?
What's your nationality?
I'm confused.
By wearing this one.
So what my nationality is, so what color all y'all are.
Right. Let me explain. Let me help you understand.
My country, I defend it.
I know.
I love all of you.
At one time, Jewish people lived in Germany. You understand that, right?
I'm German as well.
I know. At one time, Jewish. That's why I asked you your nationality. At one time, Jewish people lived in Germany, didn't they?
Did they?
And during World War I, they fought for Germany. They loved Germany.
Really?
Until one day, Adolf Hitler began to exterminate them. And then they turned on their country and went for a land of their own. Well, this is what you have to understand. We have served this stinking country. There's nobody more patriotic than black people. We're the people that die in your wars, build your cities, and raise your children, and bleed in all of your wars, and reap none of the benefits. There is nobody more patriotic than us. There is nobody that has served America more than us, until one day we found out that this is the land of our oppressor. This is not our homeland. So we decided to go find our own land. So we decided to go find the land of our ancestors, just like the Jewish people did in Germany. And know what the problem with white people is? You don't respect anybody's humanity except for your own. You don't respect anybody's pain except for your own. You expect Jewish people to hate Hitler and to hate the Nazis, but you can't understand why we should hate you. You can't understand that because you're not human, and you're cruel, and you're selfish. And if you had any love and compassion in your heart, you would know how much you deserve to be hated. If you had any love in your heart, you white people are merciless. And you hate to look at anybody as a human being. How dare you ask us? Have we loved America? We have loved you forever, and you have always hated us. We have loved you consistently for 400 years. We prayed to that black Jesus, and we saluted your flag, and we died in your militaries, and you beat us like dogs. How dare you ask us, have we loved you? I have a question for you. When in the hell have you ever loved anybody but yourself? Give me Ezekiel 35. I'm looking you square in your eye and telling you this, that you are completely cruel. And you know why your heart is broke? Because I'm telling you the truth for the first time in your life. Your whole life you thought that you've been compassionate and caring, but meanwhile, you know what you are? Just another white girl standing on stolen ground, reaping the benefits of bloody fathers. That's what you are. Even though you think you're so liberal and so kind, all you are is another child benefiting off the murder of your father. That is who you really are. And you should face it. And you should fall on your knees and beg repentance for your evil, cruel, corrupt, selfish life that you've lived here on the bones of the North American Indian. on the bones of the slaves, on the bones of the Puerto Ricans, on the bones of the Mexicans, on the bones of all the poor people that your father murdered so you could go to college and so you could get drunk and high and have a good time. Your father had to murder for that privilege. You understand that, don't you? Your father had to kill. Your grandfather had to steal so you could live like Pamela Anderson in America. Give me Ezekiel 35. That's the truth. I'm showing you love. That's love. I'm telling you the truth. Ain't that real love?
Most High Christ. Look, give General Yahanna a hand. Get out of hand. You understand? Hold on. Let's bring this thing over here. Salaki, make sure everybody can hear me. All right. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Salaki, shalom. All right. Go ahead, clap it up. All right, shalom. Yahweh Hashem Thumb to all the brothers. Yahweh Shemar Alathun by Hashem Yahushua to all the sisters. I'm priest and officer of 5,000 Malak, the camp leader here in Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas. And I'm here today with the Sunday evening history class. Excuse me. Today's history class is going to be about the history of 4th of July. Y'all hear, General Muhammad? That was a patriotism for white people. You understand how much patriots, how big of patriots blacks, Hispanics really have been in this country, all throughout this earth. We are the most patriotic. Why? Because we're the people who fought for America, died for America, served America, suckled America's young, enslaved by this country, and we are the people who built this country. So also, when we go over the history of 4th of July today, we're also going to go over who made America great, because there's been a big lie told in the world today, in America today, that we are confused about who made America great. Donald Trump, the president of the United States, he thinks that white people make America great, which is why he treats our brothers and sisters from the tribes of Issachar and Zebulun in Central and South America and the so-called Mexicans. That's why he treats them so terribly, because he believes that his people are what make America great. Well, today in this history class, we're going to go over who really makes America great, who really made Great Britain great, who makes Mexico and Central and South America, who makes everything a better place to live. We're going to go over that today. Everyone understand? If you have any comments, any questions, you can ask all your comments. We'll get all your problems solved. Answer all your questions, right? If you have any, put them in the chat. All right. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the first scripture, right? We're going to go to Matthew chapter 5 and verse 13. All right. Where we go right here. Salakia. Let's go to Matthew chapter 5 and verse 13. This is Christ speaking. This is written in red, which means Christ said this. It says, "Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost his savor," let me pull it up right here. Salakia. "Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost his savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden under foot of men." So once again, this was our King Christ, Yahushua, speaking. And he is teaching the people that ye are the salt of the earth. He's teaching blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. He's teaching the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. He's teaching us that we are the salt of the earth. And if the salt loses its savor, remember, salt makes everything taste better. That's why you put it in food. That's the reason you put it on your eggs, and everything that tastes wonderful is salty. It's good. It gives things taste. It gives things flavor. Something that was bland is bland no more. Something that was not a good thing or tastes good, the metaphor is now it will taste better because salt is there. And he's comparing us, God's chosen people, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. He's comparing us to salt, meaning that we make things taste better. We make America taste better. We make Great Britain and the British Crown taste better. We make life sweeter. We make NASA better. We make America better. The Marine Corps, the Air Force, the Navy, we make it all better because we are the salt that gives it flavor. Everyone understand? Let's keep going. wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing. He says this, but if the salt have lost his savor, how could salt lose its savor? Because it's not salty anymore. So now it's good for nothing. That is what he's saying. If you are diminished to nothing, if somebody takes away your salt, takes away your savor, then what does it mean for the salt? It means that it doesn't taste good anymore. You taste it in your mouth and it's nasty. You want to throw it away. It's disgusting. You don't want to eat it anymore. You don't want to use it anymore. Everyone understand? So that's the metaphor. Now, with that being said, let's go. We're going to come back to this, to the salt of the earth. Let's go to the history of 4th of July. Shalom, sis. Yahweh Shamar Alatha Bahashim Yahweh Shah. Shalom, sis. How you doing? You understand? Everyone check in. And you understand? You want to earn your Hebrew name, check in, young brothers and sisters, and ask questions. I know y'all got questions about the Bible, about certain scriptures you may have read throughout the week. Now's the time to ask them in class. Everyone understand? Shalom, sis. Let's go to the history of the 4th of July, right? Let's go here now. All right, let's get it. Here we go. Independence Day for America. Now, remember, every country has an Independence Day. Always remember that. Every race of people have an independence from the people who oppress them. That's very important to remember. Let me fix this camera real fast. Salakia, let me fix this thing. All right. I always try to make sure y'all can see that beautiful, costly array shield. Boy, look at that costly array shield there. That thing is glorious. You understand? This represents independence from the Roman Empire and the Greeks and the Assyrians. This is the throne that our King Christ sits on. This is our independence right here. A free man wears things like this. You understand? This means you're free under Christ. Everyone understand? That costly array shield, that thing there. I mean, if you don't have no costly array in your house, go get you some costly array. Speaking of independence, right? Get you some costly array, because this represents this is independence from our oppressor. You understand? Speaking of real independence, go get you some costly array and some Carl Gatz. Everyone understand? Show the white man that you're free. Rock those braids, wear that shield of David, and have your beard shown so you can show your oppressor that you're a free man. Everyone understand? That's costly array there. Ooh-wee. Salakia. I try to have it showing all the time, but it's hard with the setup. We'll get better. But nonetheless, going into the 4th of July, okay, speaking of independence, every race of people have independence, right? Everyone is independent from someone who have been oppressed by people, right? So America was oppressed by the British. So before the country of America was formed, the 13 colonies, right, they were oppressed by the British people, right? So here, what was it? Yesterday was the 4th of July. Yesterday or 2 days ago was the 4th of July. This is the history of the 4th of July, right here. Let's read it. The 4th of July, also known as Independence Day or July 4th, has been a federal holiday in the United States since 1941. But the tradition of Independence Day celebration goes back to the 18th century and the American Revolution. Excuse me. On July 2nd, 1776, the Continental Congress voted in favor of independence, and 2 days later, delegates from the 13 colonies adopted the Declaration of Independence. So it took the American Revolution. What was the American Revolution? It was the Revolutionary War fought between the white coats, the British, or the red coats, and the blue coats. So America and Great Britain had a war, which was called the Revolutionary War. And they fought against the British because that is who was oppressing them with taxes, right? You all heard of the Boston Tea Party. You all heard of taxation without representation. The Great Britain was the pilgrims who left the old world of what you now know as the United Kingdom. They left Great Britain. They came to America and they came to the New World, right? And they established the 13 colonies, and they had federalists and different, political parties. And they were trying to get religious freedom because over in Great Britain, I believe they were Protestants or they were Catholic. Nonetheless, whatever is the opposite of I believe Protestant, they came here to establish their Quaker faith, right? They didn't want to be Protestant or they didn't want to be Catholic. So they wanted to gain religious freedom from the British, which is why they came to America. And as they were here in America, Great Britain still taxed them through tea, right? Everyone knows that in Great Britain, they love tea. They put a tax, or what you call now, what Donald Trump's dumb self calls, what they call a tariff. They put tariffs on tea, and it made it so expensive that the new colonies here in America could not afford it. You understand? So what did they do? They went to war, just like any other race of people who were oppressed by another people. Like that's what the Iranians are doing right now in the Middle East. The Israelis are oppressing the Iranians. They are oppressing the Libyans. They are oppressing the Palestinians. The Israelis are oppressing every neighbor they have around them. They are oppressing everybody. Well, let me tell you something, young man, sisters and brothers. When people who are not slaves are oppressed, they rise against that oppression. They're not slaves, right? And I'm saying that on purpose. People who are not slaves, who don't have Stockholm syndrome, who don't have post-traumatic slave disorder, that race of people who are getting oppressed, guess what they're going to do? They're going to fight against their oppressor. They're not going to just sit there and take it. No, they're not deer. You understand? They're not, does in the field. They are not going to sit there and take the oppression of their people, the rape of their daughters, the mistreatment of their sons, the enslavement of their people. They won't just sit there and take it. So what does Iran, Palestine, Libya, and all the countries, neighboring countries of Israel do? What are they doing now? They are arming themselves to go to war with Israel and her allies, which means America, Canada, and everyone, and Great Britain. Right? They're arming themselves to do that because they do not want to be slaves. They want to rise up against oppression. And American colonies, the first colonies here in America, the Federalists, the Quakers that came from Great Britain, they did the same thing. And that was the American Revolution. And America won. America won the war. They were able to get the foot of Great Britain off of the neck of their people here in America. Right? So let's keep going. And that happened on July 2nd, 1776. It says the Continental Congress voted in favor of independence. So this is when America, they gained their independence from Great Britain. And 2 days later, delegates from the 13 colonies adopted the Declaration of Independence, a historic document drafted by Thomas Jefferson from 1776 to present day, July 4th. To present day, July 4th has been celebrated as the birth of American independence, with festivities ranging from fireworks, parades, and concerts to more casual family gatherings and barbecues. The 4th of July, 2025 is on fire. Okay, no sweat, right? It says, when the initial battles in the Revolutionary War broke out in April 1775, few colonists desired complete independence from Great Britain, and those who did were considered radical. By the middle of the following year, however, many more colonists had come to favor independence, thanks to growing hostility against Britain and the spread of revolutionary sentiments, such as those expressed in the best-selling pamphlet Common Sense, published by Thomas Paine in early 1776. So here we go. So now, once again, I broke it all down for you, and the article just tells you more about how America gained the independence from Great Britain. Right? So that is the history of July 4th, right? The history of July 4th is the independence for America. Now, this is my question to so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. During July 4th, 1776, here in the colonist states, here in the 13 colonies in America, which included the South, where, like Georgia and South Carolina, where were your ancestors? Where were your forefathers during July 4th, 1776? That's the question I want to ask to Blacks, Hispanics, and to Black people in particular here in America. I want to ask that to the tribe of Judah, the Negroes. Right? Where were your ancestors during July 4th, 1776? Don't all speak at once. Let me see if I can get this up. Ooh, that's a good painting right there. That's a good one. Ooh, that's an even better one. Look, I'm about to share this screen now. It's a lot. This is some good stuff here. Remember, July 4th, 1776, that was the independence for white colonists in the 13 colonies in America. Their separation and independence against their white oppressors in Great Britain. Right? That's what July 4th is for. It's for American citizens. It's for white people who gained independence from Great Britain. This is my question to the tribe of Judah, the so-called Negroes. Where were your forefathers during during July 4th, 1776? I gave you the answer. So let's look at the pictures. This is where your forefathers were. That's a good painting right there. And then look at this picture down here. Look at this picture right here. Ooh, wee. Oh, my child, my child. This is a good depiction of what was actually taking place. These are real pictures here. These are real pictures of black people in slavery while America was celebrating their independence from Great Britain. Who were we independent from? Look at these pictures here. Let's look at some more of these pictures. This one is always a tearjerker for me. Y'all see that picture, that image to the right here? This little boy, I want to say he was 3 or 4 years old, right? He's a 3-4-year-old black boy, and he's out there in the field picking cotton. This was somebody's grandfather. This was somebody's brother and son. Everyone understand? This is who we were, July 4th, 1776. This is who we were. This is where we were and what we were doing. We were chattel slaves. You know what this boy was considered? He was considered like a mule. He was considered a calf, an animal. There's something to work and pick cotton. Look at these pictures, Akim. Look at these pictures, brothers and sisters. This is what was going on July 4th, 1776. July 4th, 1876. July 4th, 1854. July 4th, you name it. On July 4th every year for the last 400 years, this is what our forefathers were doing. In the field picking cotton, cutting sugar cane, being oppressed and whipped. Like that picture up here show. Where's that picture right here? The sister has her baby on her back, which was real life. This isn't just a depiction. I mean, Salaki, this isn't just artwork. This is from a real life event. This happens so commonly. Black women would have to take their newborns, put them in what they call not a cocoon, a papoose. That's what the Native Indian women called it on the Trail of Tears. That's another thing. Where were the so-called Salakia? Where were the so-called North American Indians? July 4th, 1776. Where were they? Right? The tribe of Judah was picking cotton. Let's see where our brothers and our sisters were from the other tribes. Let's see where they were. Ooh, here go a good one, another good one right here. This is where the tribe of Gad and Reuben was. 1776, July 4th. 1876, July 4th. This is where they were. They were on the Trail of Tears. Anyone ever heard of that? The expansion west. And guess who was the army general who led the tribe of Gad, the so-called North American Indian, on the Trail of Tears? Andrew Jackson, who later became the president of the United States of America. This is where our people were on July 4th, 1776. Now, why do I bring that up? Why do I bring these pictures up? Why do I bring that fact of our people being enslaved and treated terribly and seen as less than human? Why do I? Oh, here go another one. I'm going to show y'all another one, right? I got all the tribes on this one, right? This is where our people was July 4th, right? No dogs, no Mexicans. This here is where our people was July 4th. We weren't equal to America. Everyone understand? America was celebrating their independence from their oppressor since 1776, July 4th. This is the reality of who we were, of where we were, July 4th, 1776. Now, why do I bring this up? I bring this up because America, although America's independence is not for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, because as we know and we can see, and because we know history, our people weren't free on July 4th, 1776. We know about the Trail of Tears. We know about the expansion west. We know about the Mexican-American War. We know about the no dogs, no Mexicans, no Negroes. We know that we were not free on July 4th, even though we want to celebrate the freedom of America yesterday on July 4th. We know we weren't free. So why do I bring up where we were? Because this is why it's so important. The understanding of July 4th for America, the independence for America, and black people not being free, throughout this time, racism have taught white people that they don't need blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Everyone understand? Now let's go back to that scripture. Over time, our oppressor, racism, like General Muhammad always says, white supremacy have taught our oppressor this, that they believe they don't need black people. They believe in their heart that they don't need the Mexicans. That's why they treat us so terribly. They believe they don't need the North American Indian. Everyone understand? Racism and white supremacy from July 4th, 1776 until July 4th, 2025, our oppressor believes that he does not need us anymore, that he built America by himself. You know what our oppressor believes? That they make America great. Donald Trump and the Republican Party and America believes America is great because of all of the white South African farmers that are fleeing South Africa to come to America. They believe that America is great because of all of the Arabs coming here, the East Indian innovation here, because of the Chinese innovation here. That's why America believes they're great. Let's go back to the scripture, and then we're going to see who really makes or made America great. This is Matthew chapter 5 and verse 13. Ye are the salt of the earth. In fact, after I read this scripture, I'm going to read another scripture, okay? This is Matthew chapter 5, verse 13. Ye are the salt of the earth. But if the salt have lost his savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden under foot of men. You know what our oppressor knows so well? That blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the salt of the earth. You know what the East Indians and the Arabs and the Africans know so well? That blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the salt of the earth. How do I know? Because we were in slavery and in captivity in July 4th, 1776. A people that are of no use would not have been slaves. You understand? Donald Trump makes it seem like America could run just fine without the Mexicans. What Donald Trump doesn't know, because he's so stupid, is that the Mexicans are the salt of the earth. Thus saith the Most High. Thus saith our King Christ. They give the earth flavor. The Mexicans, the Hondurans, the Guatemalans. They give the earth flavor. The Puerto Ricans and the Dominicans. They are what make America better. They what make America great. You don't believe me? Let's look. Let's look at who made America great. Now, of course, if you don't know, a couple of Saturdays ago, I taught a lecture here in Kansas City. Most High in Christ, the water to command and journey on down, for allowing me to teach that lecture here, because what we talked about was black and brown excellence. And that is the thing that our people need to learn so well. Because you know what else white supremacy have taught white people they don't need us. You know what white supremacy have taught us? That we are of no use. That is what white supremacy have taught us. Being here as a slave in America, it have taught an evil, cruel lesson to our people. It has made us think that we are of no use. The American textbooks glorify the Chinese and the Arabs or the Africans. But you know who they miss? Us. Us. We are the people who made the innovations that created a better life for this world, for this country, for this place. And now we're going to go into it. So now, let's see who we can get to first. Oh, yeah, let's get to him first, right? As a matter of fact, I could just share you this screen. I'll just share you the screen that I'm looking at instead of trying to, oh, I guess I couldn't do that, right? I'll just share you the screen that I'm looking at. This is a part of my lecture, right? Here we go. This was a part of my lecture. Anybody know who this brother is right here? Oh, y'all can't really see the right. I will have to put it up on another screen. Anybody know who this brother is right here? This brother, his name was Elijah McCoy. Anybody ever heard of the phrase, the real McCoy? Anyone ever heard of that phrase before? That phrase is due to during the time of the Western expansion, America built the well, America didn't build. America had Black and Mexicans and Native American Indians build the Transcontinental Railroad. And on the expansion west, after America went to war with the Mexicans and unalived the Mexicans out of New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, California, Nevada, after they killed and slaughtered the Mexicans and they drove them back to Mexico, America expanded westward. And on their expansion west, because of gold, they had to build a reliable transportation system out that could not rely on horse and buggy, because horse and buggy took too long. So they created the Transcontinental Railroad, or the railroad system, the railway system, where trains can deliver mail, can deliver supplies, can deliver provisions, right? Well, there was an issue with the train. The train's engine needed to be lubricated often. And without it being lubricated often, like any car engine now, it would shut down, right? It was shut down. And so you would have to constantly, a train engineer's job was to not only put the coal in the hot box so that the train can keep going for the steam engine, but they would also have to lubricate the engine, or else it would just shut down. It would stall out, which caused major jams on the Transcontinental Railway, which means instead of getting your mail tomorrow, instead of getting your lumber tomorrow, instead of getting your weapons for your military tomorrow, you had to wait another week, another month. Well, let me tell you about Elijah McCoy, the real McCoy, who was a Black man, the son of slaves here in America. This is who made America great right here. Let's get more of his story. Let me see if I can get him on here. Let's see. I want y'all to be able to read it as well. Okay, yeah, here we go. And listen, this brother wasn't even from America. This brother was from Canada. Let me get the screen on. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Bear with me. Okay, here we go. Elijah McCoy was born in Canada to parents who fled slavery. This was the son of slaves. You understand? McCoy trained as an engineer in Scotland as a teenager. Unable to find an engineering position in the United States, he took a job working for a railroad and subsequently invented a lubrication device to make railroad operations more efficient. Now, here we are, circa 1830s. Now, you have issues with the train engine. The train engine could not deliver supplies to, the new westward expansion, to the states like California or Nevada or New Mexico or Arizona. Things could not be delivered there in time because the engine of the train needed to be lubricated so often. Well, this is what this brother invented. Do they have the diagram? I'm gonna need the diagram. Y'all bear with me 1 second. I want to see that diagram. It might be on. Ew, they might have it right here on the national. They do not have it on here. Salakia. Let's read a little more about the brother before we get the diagram of his invention. Oh, they do. Salakia. Here it is right here. Can y'all see this? Y'all see this right here? This is the design for the invention of the lubricator. It was called a lubricating cup. That's what it is. A lubricating cup. With this tiny thing, this thing created a more efficient and proficient railroad system. So now the engine can lubricate itself instead of an engineer having to stop every 50 minutes, every 60 miles, and lubricating the goddamn engine. What is this the preface to? What is this the beginning to? This is the beginning to a car engine. This is the beginning to a car engine. You don't have to oil your engine every day. There's a reason for that. The trains don't have to oil their engine every day. There's a reason for that. He is the reason for that. This brother right here, Elijah McCoy, he is the reason that engines can self-lubricate themselves. They can lubricate themselves. You change the oil on a gas-powered engine, you got to change the oil every 2,000, 3,000 miles. On a diesel, you have to change the oil every 6,000 to 10,000 miles, something like that. Well, it's a reason why you don't have to get out and check the oil every time you stop somewhere. He's the reason. He's the reason that created the helped the westward expansion. He's the reason America was able to go from New York, the 13 colonies, Georgia, Virginia, Maryland, New York, Boston, Massachusetts. He's the reason why the 13 colonies just aren't the 13 colonies anymore. Why America now has 50 states, because that transcontinental railroad was able to stretch from New York City all the way to Washington State without any hiccups. He's the brother who invented this lubricating cup. So now America is successful. Think about what happened in the 1850s and 60s and 70s. The gold, the discovery of gold in California. That's where you get the 49ers from. That's why that team, San Francisco, is called the San Francisco 49ers, because the 49ers were a bunch of white men, a bunch of white savages who went to California and Washington State and Oregon State. And they went there for the sole purpose to mine gold. And when they mined that gold out, they had to kill a lot of Mexicans. They had to kill a lot of North American Indians, the Arapaho, the Cheyenne, the Chickasaw, the Chippewa. They had to unalive them so they can get the gold that the earth produced. And that gold made America great. That gold made America great. Because guess what happened right after the discovery of gold in the West? America now put the dollar. They backed the dollar with the gold standard. So as America is growing, this growing country, they're expanding further than the 13 colonies, further than Georgia, more west. Texas, that's another big one. Texas, that's another huge expansion. They expanded to Texas, all the way Missouri, then to Louisiana. Listen, let me slow down. Salaki, listen. You know why it's so exciting? It's also disappointing, because when you learn about American history in American schools, none of this is ever talked about. American history books make it seem like white men came to America. They love the North American Indians. That's why they make movies like Pocahontas. Some 9-year-old white, some 9-year-old Native Indian girl falls in love with a white settler from Great Britain. They make everything that they do seem so innocent. So innocent. The Bible says this, that their words were smooth as oil, but war was in their heart. That's in the book of Psalms, chapter 55, verse 21. Our oppressor, he makes movies and books to make it seem like white men came here from Great Britain. They settled here. They had the first Thanksgiving with the North American Indians, and they loved the North American Indian. And then somehow the North American Indians ended up on a reservation in between the time the Pilgrims met them and Andrew Jackson. And then white men built the Transcontinental Railroad. And then white men built the railway system. And then white men built the train engine. And then white men discovered gold. And then white men, everything is just white. That is not the true history of this country, nor is it the true history of the earth. That's not real. That's not real life. White settlers came here to America, and they unalived and slaughtered the North American Indian after our brothers and sisters from the tribe of Gad showed them how to hunt, showed them how to live and survive throughout the winter, showed them how to get fresh, clean water, showed them how to survive. They unalived them. They said, thank you. We're killing you. And we're taking your women, raping your daughters, and we're taking your land. And that's how the 13 colonies got established. After the 13 colonies, guess what the white man had the forward thinking and enlightenment to do? That's in history books. Just for y'all to know, that's why I'm putting it in quotations. In 1712, such and such and such and such, some white man, he had the forward thinking and enlightenment to make a transcontinental railroad in 1838. This white man, this white president, he had the forward thinking and enlightenment to expand the country. So now white men built the railroad system, not the slaves, right? Not the Mexicans, not the North American Indian, but white men. White men, they even go so far to say that Chinese built the railroad system in the country. They have that in your children's history book. That's why your children choose the white doll over the black doll, because they're learning indoctrination, white supremacy. They are getting inundated with white supremacy on a daily basis. Your children cannot escape white supremacy outside of the I.S.U.P.K. And here we teach your children the truth. We teach blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that ye are the salt of the earth. We teach blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that ye, Jacob, is the former of all things. You create everything, black man. You make everything better. Hispanic, Native American Indian, not white settlers from Great Britain who didn't know their head from their shoe. They didn't know how to survive without us, without the tribes of the North American Indian tribes. They didn't know how to survive without the Cherokee. They couldn't survive without the Sioux and the Blackfoot and the Cree. They couldn't survive without us. Now here we are, shown in history as just, cotton pickers, when really this is who we are. We made America great. That's where you get the real McCoy from. Here I am as a child thinking that phrase is from a white TV show of white oil barons. Excuse me. I'm thinking as a child, the real McCoy is a phrase for white oil barons in the South and Louisiana. Meanwhile, the real McCoy is speaking about a black man who's in the National Inventors Hall of Fame because of the invention that he created, made America expand west. Without this invention, you could bet your bottom dollar that the growth of America would not have happened as prominent as it did because of what this brother did, because of his self-lubricating oil system, the oil cup. Now an engineer didn't have to stop every 5,000 miles, 500 miles, 50 miles to lubricate this train engine. Now guess what he can do? They can keep that train going to San Francisco so that those white savages in San Francisco can mine for more gold. After the discovery of gold in California, in Oregon, and Washington State, guess what America did? They were able to back their dollar from the on the gold standard. That superseded America by 18 ranks on the totem pole of the earth. So now in the 1890s and the early 19th century, 20th century, Salakia, America and Great Britain were neck and neck for power. It was Great Britain, America, Germany, I believe. Those were the three countries. If you were to look at a list of the top powers, superpowers on the earth at the beginning of the 20th century, I want to say Great Britain was still number one. Then you had, I think it was Germany. I want to say Germany was number two, and then there was America. Brother, America backed the dollar on the gold standard, and America became the greatest superpower the world has ever seen. You can thank Elijah McCoy for that. You can thank all of the dead Native Indian and Mexican bodies in California for that. We are what make America great. I'm not done. Y'all know I'm not through. I got so much more. Let me pull up his this image again. Let me pull up his patent image again. Come on, Knock. While America has our people thinking that all we're good at is twerking and dancing and singing and entertaining white people, this is what we're good at. We're good at being the salt of the earth. Let me break down what that means too for brothers and sisters who are coming into the truth. When Christ said that ye are the salt of the earth, that doesn't mean that you jump the highest or you run the fastest. You hear a lot of people say, well, the salt of the earth, that means who else jumps the highest? Who else runs the fastest? Listen, Africans run pretty far. They can run far further than a Judite. Being the salt of the earth has nothing to do with your physical capability. Being the salt of the earth has everything to do with the people that God chose, that he gave his intellect to. White people didn't invent the self-lubricating engine. They didn't invent the real McCoy. That phrase became so popular because white people who are thieves, they tried to steal the brother's invention. So from the Canada to American Transcontinental Railroad, whenever they would go to look for that lubricating cup, hey, shalom, Lord Christ, mighty man. Shalom, Ak. How you feeling, brother? right? We sitting here, young man Eric, we sitting here talking about how black and brown excellence is superior to anything the oppressor have ever taught us, that we are the salt of the earth. The Canadian to American Transcontinental Railroad Railway, whenever they would run out of or trying to find that self-lubricating oil, that lubricating cup that he invented, they would have to say, I want the real McCoy, because white people from Canada to America, they tried to recreate what Elijah McCoy invented, but they failed and it would not work. And so white people were upset because the engine, the lubricating cup that the white people made was not working at all. Our oppressor tried to copy the brother's intellect, but they failed. And so they had to request the real McCoy. They said, listen, I don't want you to give me this fake ish. I want you to give me the real McCoy. And that's where that phrase came about. Damn right, Doc. Listen, damn right. Also, young man Eric, if you have any questions or comment, please ask your question, brother. You understand? Damn right, Doc. The white man is a thief, brother. Did you know that? He's an absolute thief. And he tries to steal, not tries. He stole a lot of our inventions, Doc. Damn near all of them, right? You got maybe one or two that white people actually invented. And none of the inventions white people create actually make life better for people. The things that make life better for people make the earth taste good. I'm using that on purpose because of what's in the Bible. The thing that gives the earth savor, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians create those. The white man does not. The real McCoy. They had to ask for this thing here. And when they requested it, they said, give me the real McCoy. Because if you give me that fake-ish, it's going to make this engine blow the hell up. I want the thing the black man invented. You see that? We aren't just cotton pickers. Who was that? Charlie Pride has that song, in this Mississippi cotton picking Delta town. You're more than just a cotton picker, black man. You're more than just a goddamn elote cart hot dog and elote selling Mexican. You're more than that, Issachar, La Raza. You're more than a dancer, Puerto Rican. You are the intellect of the Most High God. You have the intellect from your power. The Lord didn't give that to everybody. He made you great with his laws. You have wisdom from the Lord that no other race of people have. That's what makes you the salt of the earth, not your physical capability. So what? You can jump high and run fast. That doesn't dominate countries. As far as I'm concerned, Adolf Hitler was 5'5" and couldn't lift 50 pounds. He still dominated the earth at one time. He still had the Third Reich. Alexander the Great was shorter than 6 foot tall. Napoleon Bonaparte was 5'8". He couldn't squat 5,000 pounds like Ronnie Coleman. He couldn't bench press 500 pounds like Ronnie Coleman, but he did own the earth at one time. You understand? Your physical capability has nothing to do with the salt of the earth. And even the thought of breaking that scripture down to be physical capability shows how much of a slave we are. Because our mind only goes as far as our physical capability. That's why women get BB. That's why black women. Imagine this, young man, Eric. Black women and Hispanic women, as voluptuous as they are, there is no more thick or beautiful, naturally beautiful woman than a black, Hispanic, or Native Indian woman. They have natural curves. They have the natural sweet smell and aroma. They have a sweet spirit naturally. They have that sweet spirit. Eve is just a black, Hispanic, and Native Indian woman is everything good in life. Let me help you sisters to something. That's the reason why brothers want to be lawyers, doctors, engineers, and mechanics. So they can get black, Hispanic, and Native Indian tail. A man will go to war for women. Women are everything beautiful in life. Even that is not good enough for a black or Hispanic woman in 2025. They have to go to Dr. Miami in Colombia and get concrete injected in their behind. They behind already look good. Their breasts already look fine. But they have to go and augment their bodies because in their mind, their body is the only worth they have. That's it. Their only worth is in how big are my breasts? How small are my breasts? Do my breasts sit up perky? Let me tell you something, sis. Your body is perfect just the way it is. You don't have to go and change it. You don't have to go and augment it. You don't have to get that laser eye surgery. The glasses look fine on you. Your behind looks just fine. Your breasts look just, that stomach is just fine. The stretch marks, ooh-wee. You're going to augment your body and change the way the body God gave you, because in your mind, because you're a slave, you can only think that your worth is attached to your body and how you look. There are 55, 60-year-old grandmothers that have grandkids that are going to get BBLs out. They're going to get BBLs. Why? Because the salt of the earth means you jump the highest and run the fastest. Come on now. You're just a slave. LeBron James is LeBron James because he is the son of slaves. That's the reason why he can jump high and run fast. Your physical capability, your physical ability and attributes have nothing to do with the salt of the earth. Nothing to do with the salt of the earth. But this does have to do with the salt of the earth. Your intellect, your wisdom, having the laws of God, that was only given to one group of people, and that people are Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Let's keep going. We're not just finishing off with Elijah McCoy. Oh no, we got a whole hour left of class. We doing this thing here. Black and brown excellence. Let's go to him. No, you know what? Before we go there, let's go to my favorite. So let's go to Mae Jemison. You understand? Let's go to her. Let's get the backdrop on Mae Jemison. Ooh-wee. You sisters think that all you good for is being Megan Thee Stallion. I have another Black woman to show you. Let's look at old Mae C. Jemison. Come on now. Let's see. Here we go. Ooh-wee. Let me add this to the stage. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mae Jemison, Eric Bowden. Mae Jemison. Now, do you know who she is? All right. Do you sisters know who she is? You know she spoke 8 languages. Right? You know she was a goddamn doctor at 16 years old. Okay? Megan Thee Stallion is a beautiful sister. Cardi B and what's the other hoe? God damn it, Eric, help me. Young man, help me. Somebody help me. What's the other? Glorilla. I love me a dark-skinned trapping ass. But listen, I got you, sis. She's a beautiful sister too, sis. She can rap. They can sing, they can dance. That's good. They beautiful. They look good. But sis, you're more than just your breast and your thighs. You do understand that, don't you? You do understand that your worth isn't, I love me a rapping ass, trapping ass. Come on. Wet ass vagina, you're more than just WAP. Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B got that song WAP. You know you're more than, there's some hoes in this house. There's some hoes. You're not that. Your worth should not be attached to how you look. When Christ said ye are the salt of the earth, it doesn't mean that you have wet ass vagina. It doesn't mean you have a big behind and you can jump high and bench 500 pounds. That's nice if you have a big behind and jump 500 pounds. That's good. But that is not what being the salt of the earth means. Everyone understand this is the salt of the earth. Let's read up on old Mae Jemison. She was born. We ain't gonna get into all that when they were born and all that. We're gonna get into what they invented and what they created. Okay, it says this. When she was 8 years old, her mother signed her up for beginner ballet. That's unimportant. Let's go to her education. That's what I'm trying to push to these young Black and Hispanic children. Your intellect. You reading on a 4th grade reading. Do you know that the national average, the literacy average for Black children is a 4th grade reading level? That might not even be for Black. That's all kids. The national average in America. I'm not speaking about Great Britain. I'm speaking about the national average in America, in the United States of America. The average literacy, meaning this is the grade average that the average person can read on. It's 4th grade. What is 4th grade? Junie B. Jones. Your son and daughter is in the 12th grade, and the only thing they can read is Junie B. Jones. Come on now. Are you out of your mind? The wonderful underpants. What's the Captain Underpants? Your son is a high school. Listen, your son can bench 500 pounds at 17 years old, but he can only read Captain Underpants. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. clearly the salt of the earth is not speaking about physical capability, because your high schooler is 17 years old and can jump the highest and bench press the most at his school, but he's reading Captain Underpants. He can't read higher than Captain Underpants. Something is wrong here. There's a problem here. This is what the salt of the earth is. Let's keep going and read up on Mae Jemison. It says, once Mae Jemison graduated high school, she left Chicago to attend Stanford University in California. How old was she when she went to college? Anybody want to give a guess? Mae Jemison was 16 years old when she went to Stanford. Stanford, if you don't know, is a Ivy League school. It is one of the best schools in the world. Not in America, in the world. It is a prestigious, blue-blooded Ivy League school, just like Harvard, Yale, Penn State, I believe, is another one. Stanford is up there. It's up there. Let's keep reading. The next step in her education. Oh, here we go. Yeah, the next step in her educational journey would lead her to Cornell Medical School. So she received a Bachelor of Science. She dual majored, meaning she was getting 2 majors at the same time at 16 years old. Your 16-year-old is reading Junie B. Jones. That's the most they can read is Junie B. Jones. She was 16 from Chicago, went to Stanford at 16. She spoke 8 languages. She received 2 degrees from Stanford. She received a Bachelor's in Science in Chemical Engineering and a Bachelor's of Arts in African American Studies. Oh, she had racial pride. Did you know that? Did you know you don't have to be a sellout and have racial pride? So like you don't have to be a sellout and be educated. A lot of times you think when you get educated black, listen, I love the tribe of Benjamin. I myself consider myself a Benjamite. But brother, let me tell you something about the tribe of Benjamin. I do not like for when I see Benjamites who are doctors and lawyers and they come over here and now they are white people. They marry white, they think white. They don't have any racial pride. The Virginia senator, the senator in Virginia is a Benjamite black woman. And she had the nerve to ridicule a black woman who wants to educate her kids at home in Montana. She said that she should not be doing that. She should leave it in the hands of a white woman. I am not making this up. You can go look this up. The Benjamite black senator in Virginia, she charged a black woman in Montana with wanting to educate her own kids. I do not like that our brothers and sisters from all 12 tribes, when they get a certain degree of education, it seems like they can't have any more racial pride. What is that? This sister Mae Jemison, she has racial pride. Do you understand? She received a degree in African American Studies on top of her receiving a degree, a chemistry degree in chemical engineering. The brother said self-hatred. Damn right, brother. You know that's where I'm going to next. I'm going to that scripture next, Doc. Is Israel a homeborn slave? Is he a servant? That post-traumatic slave disorder is something serious, Doc. It is something serious. We think that the higher up we go, the less we forget about our people. Why can't it be that the higher education you receive, the more you think about the brothers and sisters who do not have this education? We don't have any racial pride at all. And that diminishes the rest of our self-esteem. That's what Dr. King didn't realize. As he wanted to have sex with white women and join us to our oppressor, the one thing Dr. King did not understand was that he was ruining our self-pride. Our esteem was ruined the moment Dr. King said that he had a dream that the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners should sit down together at the table of brotherhood. That ruined our self-esteem. Is Israel a homeborn slave? Is he a servant? Is all we are just a people that are supposed to serve another people? Come on now. So let's go back to Mae Jemison, right? Oh, and also while we doing Mae Jemison, let's go to Jeremiah. Right? Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 16. This is Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 16. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Most High of Hosts is his name. Listen, brother, the Lord told us in the book of Jeremiah that we are the former of all things. You see, we aren't dancers and just singers. Your life is not entertaining white people. I know that's what we believe because we're Christians, and the Christian church is the school for piano players. The Christian church is the school for singers. The Christian church is the school for black entertainers. But we are more than just entertainment. Do you understand? Our people are the former of all things. We make things better. We create life. We create the inventions that are going to help better someone's life. That is who we are. We create. We're the salt of the earth. We give life flavor. We give the earth flavor. We give it savor. That is who we are. That's why Christ compared us to salt. We give everything. We make everything taste better. Without us, do I have to show you the images of the bubonic plague? Does anybody know what the bubonic plague was? White people in their ignorance, not having the intellect that the Lord gave blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, they don't know. They didn't have plumbing systems during the Renaissance era. During the Renaissance era, our oppressor did not have plumbing. So what did they do? They would throw all of their waste outside. They would throw all of their defecation, their urine. That's where that phrase, you don't have a pot to piss in, that comes from the Renaissance era. When white people ruled Europe, when white people ruled the world, they just made life worse. They made life worse. You know who had plumbing systems and designs? The nation of Israel. You know what? I got this book here. I got books now. We at school. This is a class. I got this book right here. It's called From Babylon and Timbuktu. In this book, if I can find it, it talks about how when the tribe of Judah and the rest of the Israelites fled into Africa, the Africans were living just like the white Europeans in Europe. They didn't have plumbing. They didn't have architect. They didn't have goldsmiths and blacksmiths. When we fled to Africa, guess what we established? Civilization. That's in 70 AD. Once we fled from the Roman persecution, we went into West Africa, and the West Africans were living like animals. Guess what we did? We created architecture. We had blacksmiths, goldsmiths, doctors, hospitals, banks. That's what we created because we are the salt of the earth. Everywhere we go, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians make life better for everybody. We make the food better. We make the life better. We make civil, everything just, they call it Southern hospitality for a reason. That is who we are. And on top of all of that, we also are the rod of the Lord's inheritance. Remember, a rod or a staff, that word in Hebrew is matah. Matah Ya'Allah. That's a good name for a brother. If any camp leader wants that name, that's a good name for a brother. I haven't met a brother in the school yet named Matah Ya'Allah. Right? But that is a good name for a brother. Matah Ya'Allah. That name means the staff or the rod of the Lord. Because in our culture, in Black and Hispanic culture, in Israelite culture, the father would have a staff, would have a rod. And on this staff, he would carve the name of his father. His father would have carved his name. And then the son that he passed it down to would carve his name. And then you would carve your name. And then your son would carve his name. And this was just an inheritance that you would pass down from generation to generation. That is our culture, to have that staff. Remember, Moses had that staff. And that staff represents the power and might of the Most High God. You understand? And so we created that. That's our culture, to have that rod, that staff, that Matah Ya'Allah. And the Bible says, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. We are the rod. We are the staff of the. We are the thing that we are the people that the Lord is going to pass this staff down to. He's not going to pass this staff to the white man. He's not going to pass this staff to the Arabs or the African or the East Indian. He's going to pass this staff down to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. That is what the scripture is saying. So on top of us being the former of all things, on top of us being the salt of the earth, we are the rod of the Lord's inheritance. We are the people that the Lord made a covenant with. We're the people that the promise is with. That is who we are. That is our, that is our history and our culture. That is who we are. We are we are God's chosen people. That is who we are, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. So why do we try so hard to be something other than that? Why do we try so hard to lose our inheritance? We are the chosen people of God. Why on earth do you want to lose that? That's the most important thing about life, is being God's chosen people. But you know what the church in America have done for 400 years? They have tried their best to get us to lose our inheritance to the Lord. With our twerking and our us not following the laws of God. Damn right, brother. Us not following the laws of God. Us celebrating 4th of July. You understand? You're going to get your hand blown off. You celebrate your oppressor's freedom. We celebrate their Christmas and Thanksgiving. We do our best, Doc, to not want to be the chosen people of God. But that is who we are. That's why you have Mae Jemisons. That's why you have Elijah McCoys. Even in captivity, we still outshine everybody else. These are the children of slaves. Mae Jemison is the daughter of slaves. Elijah McCoy was the son of slaves, literally. And even in the face of slavery, we still create things that are going to make the world better, that are going to make America great. We still do it in spite of slavery. Why? Because we are the salt of the earth. We are the chosen people of God. Let's keep going on Mae Jemison, right? This is the part that I always love to read. Like, I know a lot of people, if I may, real quick, I know a lot of people don't really know. They see during Black History Month, they see Mae Jemison in a space shuttle because she was a NASA astronaut. But most of our people and most white people don't even know what Mae Jemison contributed to NASA, and they don't know what she contributed to life itself. Let me read this to y'all because this is absolutely profound. This is what Mae Jemison did as a newly graduated doctor from, what medical school did she go to? She went to Cornell. Did it say Cornell? Yes, she went to Cornell Medical School, which is another prestigious, hard to get into medical school. You understand? It says the next step in her educational journey would lead her to Cornell Medical School. While there, she traveled to Cuba and led a study for the American Medical Student Association. Jemison also became president of the Cornell chapter of the Student National Medical Association and helped coordinate regional health fairs. Come on, Doc. Jesus Christ, Doc. Come on, man. Listen, let's keep going. She was in the Peace Corps. While she was in the Peace Corps as a doctor, Jemison spent the summer between her 2nd and 3rd year medical school in Kenya and East Africa. She said arriving there was really like reaching a destination I had dreamed about and moved toward my life. It says, let's keep going. Let's keep going. These experiences, am I missing something? No. These experiences abroad inspired Jemison to join the Peace Corps in 1983, where she served as a medical officer for 2 years. Jemison was fascinated by primary care medicine in developing countries. This sister had a heart, a spirit to want to help poor people in other countries. At 26 years old, how old is Glorilla? How old is Megan Thee Stallion? How old is Cardi B? I think Cardi B 34 or something like that. She was 26 years old. She became the area Peace Corps medical officer for Sierra Leone and Liberia. She was responsible for the health of the U.S. Peace Corps volunteers, staff members, and embassy personnel of Sierra Leone and the Peace Corps volunteers in Liberia. She also managed a medical office, a laboratory, pharmacy, and volunteer health training in addition to being a primary care doctor. Okay, this is the part I need. I don't think they have it on here. Well, look, I'm going to just surmise it for everyone that's watching this class. Mae Jemison, when you go look this up, Mae Jemison is the sister, is the doctor who created a list of, she created a booklet to help, she studied the effects of I want to say malaria, of certain diseases that only happen in Sierra Leone. And she documented these things. She didn't have to put the Africans, the Sierra Leonean Africans, through a Tuskegee experiment like the white doctors had to do us here in America. White physicians in America put us through Tuskegee experiment. They anesthetized black women in slavery so that they created the obstetrics gynecology. The OBGYN, the doctors that are OBGYNs, they would not be OBGYNs if it wasn't for that disgusting white doctor, I forget his name, in slavery. It's in a book called Medical Apartheid, written by Harriet Washington. You can get this book. It's not a beautiful book, but it just shows how cruel our oppressor is. And the creation of the medical advancements that the white man had, he had to put our sisters through torture. So the reason you have OBGYNs, obstetrics gynecology, is because a white doctor in the 1850s, unesthetized, meaning he did not give them anesthesiology. He did not give them anesthesia, He didn't give them anesthesia. They would be fully aware, fully awake, and could feel everything. And they would cut into the wombs of pregnant women so they can see the effects of pregnancy, so they could see the gestation period. You know that gestation chart that you had, that black and Hispanic women get pregnant all the time. So I know I'm not speaking French. When y'all go to the doctor, the OBGYN, when you go see your OBGYN, there's a gestation chart. There's a chart of the growth of the baby. When the baby's 4 to 6 weeks, it should look like a grape. When the baby is 12 to 18 weeks, it'll look like a cantaloupe. When it's 16 to 24, it'll look like a watermelon. The way that white doctors know that is because of that doctor in slavery who cut open the womb of pregnant black women while they were anesthetized. That is their medicine. That's not what Mae Jemison had to do. You know what Mae Jemison did? She watched the effects as she was giving care to the Africans in Sierra Leone. She would look at the effects of so many different diseases, and she would give them help in medicine and care. And she still was able to create a book on how things affects those Africans in Sierra Leone. Do you know that to this day, they still use the same research study that Dr. Mae Jemison created in 1983? 1983 was what, 40 years ago? 42 years ago? 42 years ago, they still use that same document that Dr. Mae Jemison created. That is who we are. This is who we are. Not some twerker, not some entertainer for white people, not a homeborn slave. That is not who we are. This is who we are. We are people who are kind, a people who can still look at research studies and data and not put the people that they are researching in any hurt, harm, or danger. The white doctors got to put our pregnant women on a gurney and cut them open from the rooter to the tutor while they are anesthetized. Not black doctors. Black doctors somehow could still administer care to the patient and still do their research study. Like something is fundamentally wrong with our oppressor. There's a part of me that says that white doctors of old did that on purpose. You mean to tell me that white doctors didn't know that they could give a black woman anesthesia? They knew they could give a pregnant woman anesthesia. They wanted to study the effects of what being anesthetized did to a pregnant woman while they got cut open. They wanted to see the gestation period. It's just so much about our oppressor that is cruel and evil, and he cannot help himself out. That is who he is. But this is who we are. You know who we are? We're kind, and we're patient, and we are smart, and we are intelligent, and we are wise. And we are the farmer of all things. We are the salt of the earth. We are what give the earth flavor. If you would have left the earth to Dr. Samuel Cartwright, you would have had negritude. You would have had drapetomania. If you would have left the earth to white psychologists and white doctors, we would still be in captivity. Our sisters would still be giving birth without anesthesia, still be getting cut open without anesthesia if you would have left the earth to white doctors, brother. It's because of Black people's innovation, because of Black people's hospitality, Hispanics and Native Indians' care and kindness, that we are able to have the medical advancements we have. Remember that white nurse in Virginia broke all of the bones of the Black babies in the hospital in Virginia. That was a white nurse that did that. Was that the first time that's happened in American history? It is not, because there is something that is fundamentally wrong with our oppressor. He cannot help but be cruel. The white man can't help but be Jeffrey Dahmer. He can't help but be Eileen Wuornos and Ted Bundy and John Wayne Gacy and the Candy Man. That is just who our oppressor is. And we have to accept that. You know what else we need to accept? That this is who we are. That we are doctors, and we are lawyers, and we are lawgivers, and we are the salt of the earth. We should just start accepting that, Black people. We should stop trying to fight it. Stop trying to fight it. Stop trying to go against what God has. The Bible says this: can a man set straight what I made crooked? The Lord made us to be the salt of the earth. The Lord created the white man to be cruel. That's what the perfect word this brother just used. He said Neanderthals are cruel. That's right, brother. The Neanderthals are the oppressor, and they are cruel. And listen, the Lord designed them to be that way. The Lord designed our oppressor to be cruel. Like the wicked are estranged from the womb. That is who they are. And we should just face it. We should stop trying to change white people. And we should start trying to change. We should begin to change ourselves. Because guess who we are? We are your doctors, white man. We are your lawyers. We are the thing that makes America better, that made America great. The thing that made Great Britain great with the Windrush generation of those Benjamites. All of that. Listen, whenever you hear Africans like Idris Elba, and give me some more the Africans that come from Great Britain. All of these actors, who's the young Idris Sampson, Idris Elba, who was the cat that starred in he played Franklin Saint on that show that all y'all like to watch. He's a Hamite from Great Britain. Whenever Africans from Great Britain, whenever they try to have some type of soul or flavor, they always use West Indian island slang. It's like they want to be a West Indian. It's like they want to be from the islands of West India. You know what I'm trying to say. They want to be Benjamite tail. They want to be Benjamites. Like they try their best to try to, the language they use and the slang they use. When you hear Idris Elba, even the music that they dance to, is not African music. They're dancing to Capleton. They're dancing to Buju Banton. They're dancing to the Wailers, and they're not dancing to who's that? Bob Marley. They don't listen to Bob Marley. Africans in Great Britain don't listen to Bob Marley. Africans in Great Britain listen to whoever the West Indians listen to. Don't you see that we make everything better? People don't even want to be their own culture. Let me get into that. I can get into that real quick if I could. That's another thing I want to get into, because white men in America swear up and down they are the original cowboys. Let me show you who the original cowboys really are. Right? This is who the original cowboys are. And for all of you Judites, I know the tribe of Judah. Listen, the tribe of Judah created everything. So if you are the other 11 tribes of Israel, don't mind my tribe. We just are arrogant. We have Judite arrogance, and there is nothing a Judite didn't start first. Like Soulja Boy, all Judites are Soulja Boy. We just did everything first. Let me help the tribe of Judah with something. The original cowboys were not the tribe of Judah. I hate to break it to you, black men. I know black men thought we got these chops on, we got the cowboy boots on. Nigga, you were a slave in the 1800s. You were not a cowboy in the 1800s. Stop thinking about white Western culture as your culture. The tribe of Judah were not the real cowboys. You are not. You know who was the real cowboys? Oh, shoot. I didn't. Salakia. Let me add this screen. Salakia. All right, here we go. This was who the real cowboys are. The real cowboys, can y'all read that? Were the vaqueros, the Mexicans. Woo! Let that blow your mind. Ain't that ironic that America hates the Mexicans, but they love America's fascination with cowboy culture goes back to John Wayne, goes back to Clint Eastwood, a fistful of dollars, hang them high. That's what they love. Cowboy culture. They make it seem like American white boys were cowboys. No. Cowboy culture is Mexican culture. The Mexicans are the real cowboys, not the tribe of Judah, not the white man. The word cowboy is Spanish. Vaquero. Vaca in Spanish is cow. Vaquero or vaquera is cowboy or cowgirl. The chaps, chivaras, that is the chaps that you wear on your pants to protect while you're branding the cattle. Who branded cattle in the 1600s? It wasn't white people. White people weren't even in America in 1600s. White people didn't come to America until the late 1600s. In 1612, Mexicans were branding cows in Mexico. Why? Because the Spanish conquered the Mexicans, and the Spanish hired the Mexicans to take care of their cattle. And because we make everything great, we just made a whole culture out of it. The Mexicans made a culture for 600 years now of being a cowboy. The cowboy boots, the botas, botas de vaquero or vaquero de botas is one of them. I think it's botas de vaquero. The cowboy boot, chivaras, the chaps, the what else? The everything you think about cowboy culture is Mexican culture. From the way they ride and saddle. Remember, white people had horses too, but they didn't saddle it what they call Western saddle. They saddled it the British way. You know how when you go take your daughters or sons to get horseback riding lessons, they have the wada, Mami Mariah, muchas gracias, princesa. Ándale pues, botas de vaquero. Vámonos pues, let's get it. Come on, let's go. That is Mexican culture. La raza. Viva la raza. Come on, man. That is their culture. That's who our people are. That did not start with America. Cowboys are older than the country of America. Mexicans are the cowboys, not you, tribe of Judah. The tribe of Judah wasn't even in America yet. You niggas wasn't even here picking cotton yet before you Judites want to steal everything. That's why I'm a Benjamite. You Judites got an arrogance that is like Soulja Boy. That nigga Soulja Boy invented everything. So did the tribe of Judah. Soulja Boy is a Judite. He is a Negro. He is the son of slaves. You Judites have that arrogance out where you think that you created. That's like being from New York. New Yorkers think they started everything. You did not start everything, every fashion culture. That is not true. You didn't start wearing hats and all that. That's not true. But because you have that arrogance of a Judite, you believe that you created everything. Judites are Soulja Boy. That's all we are. We a bunch of Soulja Boys. You understand? We think that we created everything. We made everything fly. I got you, Judah. I got you. I know you can't help it. But listen, I give the other tribes some shine because you did not create cowboy. The first cowboys were not black. Let's go back to it. The first cowboys were vaqueros, Mexicans. You understand? Let's keep reading. Oh, here we go. This is what I need right here. Oh, let's see. Let's see. What do I want to read? Here we go, right here. The roots of the vaquero tradition are long entangled within complex histories of colonialism. They extend from northern Africa with the Muslim conquest. Okay, that's a bunch of hoopla. Let's go to the 16th century. Cortez. This is what I want. Hernan Cortez brought the first horses to what became Mexico, and Gregorio de Villalobos followed with the first cattle. To the Mayans, the mounted Spaniards were a terrifying sight, half man, half beast. After the conquest, the Spanish maintained their dominance by decreeing that any Native American caught riding a horse would be put to death. But the livestock, this is what you want. This is the reason why you even have cowboys. The livestock multiplied quickly and needed keepers. I know it's a movie to you. right? When you think of cowboy, you think of Clint Eastwood. You think of how Clint Eastwood do it. He had the cigar in his mouth, and what Clint Eastwood said, you got to look at a man in the eyes when you hang him. You got to look at a man in the eye when you hang him. You think that he was a goddamn cowboy. That's called being an outlaw, young man. That's not being a cowboy. A cowboy is an actual profession. Do you understand? It's not what you wear. You can own 1,000 pairs of cowboy boots, and cowgirl boots. Let me also blow the tribe of Judah's mind. The tribe of Judah loves horses. I see you, Mississippi. I see you, Georgia. I see you, Texas. I can't say Texas. I see you, Georgia, Mississippi, Florida. I got you. I got you. I know the tribe of Judah. You love to have those horse races. You love to go to rodeos. That does not make you a cowboy. Let me hip you to something. What makes you a cowboy is your profession. That means that you keep cattle. You own a certain head of cattle, and you have to ride on horseback in order to maintain these cattle. You got to doctor the cows. You understand? That brother down in Houston, Texas, give him a hand. What's his Hebrew name? Bariah in Houston, Texas. That's a cowboy. He has cattle, a lot of them. And he has to keep those cattle. You wearing cowboy boots and wearing a cowboy hat don't make you a cowboy. If you got 1 million horses, that don't make you a cowboy. You have to have those horses and have cows that you have to doctor and take care of. It's like being a firefighter. If I get a fireman's outfit, a firefighter's outfit, I'm not a firefighter. I have to do the job of a firefighter. Does everyone understand? So this is what makes them a cowboy. They had to keep the herd, the livestock. And this is what it goes on to say. It says, at first, Cortez and the conquistadors, who were considered themselves above such labor, assigned the work to their Moorish slaves. According to vaqueros, cowboys, and buckaroos, these enslaved, so it's going into talking about the Mexicans, right? The Mexicans are who were hired out by the Spanish to watch over all of their livestock. And because we make things so fly, because Jacob is the former of all things, because we are the salt of the earth, we made it cool to be a cowboy. We made jobs cool. You know what Mexicans do? Mexicans make working look fun. I got pictures in my phone when I was slaving, trabajando con la raza. When I would slave with I.S.U.P.K, brother, I used to think I could do that. Nigga, no, I don't care how much weight you lift in the gym. You are not doing what I.S.U.P.K does in the work field. Mexicans, Salakia, what Mommy Mariam says, all that grinding and line dancing ain't cowboy culture either. Give Sister Mommy Mariam a hand. All of that, singing and grinding and line dancing, you ain't no cowboy cowgirl, sis and brother. I know that you want to be so bad. Guess why you want to? This is how heavy it is. You want to be a worker so bad because Mexicans made it look so fun. Mexicans make working look fun because they are the salt of the earth. Sal tierra, sal y tierra. No, that would be E. That's and earth. Sal de tierra. They are the salt of the earth. The Mexicans. La raza es sal de tierra. They are the salt of the earth. They make work in a job look like, oh, shit, I want to make it a line dance now. Let's all put on cowboy and cowgirl hats and boots. Nigga, that's a job that they doing in Mexico. They're working 18 hours a day tending to cattle. That's a job that they just made look fun. It's the same when you work with them building houses. You sisters, black women are good at that. Y'all see all them DIY videos that I.S.U.P.K does. Y'all see I.S.U.P.K do plumbing and HVAC and electrical and put up drywall. You think that you can do that because Mexicans make it look so fun and good until you actually have to. Have you ever lifted drywall? Have any of you sisters ever did it before? Because it is labor. They get on those stilts. You cannot balance on those stilts. They'll get on the top of a goddamn bucket, I.S.U.P.K will, to do the job. They make working look fun as hell. They make it just flavorful. They got their wives bringing them everybody lunch to the slave. We eating tacos, the and drinking jarritos, and you got the sal y limon, you got the corridos playing, you got the mariachi playing, Vicente Fernandez, and you sitting there working. It's a family. Mexicans make everything look good. No wonder why you want to put on a cowboy hat and cowgirl boots, because we are the salt of the earth. It's the same with the tribe of Judah and the blues. Do you know the blues? The brother laughing. It's the truth, brother. The brother know I ain't lying. The sister said, Salakia, that clip of the white man at the watermelon field. Damn right. If you could email that, Sister Mommy Mariah, if you could email that clip to nocowardskc@gmail.com, that would be great. Okay, because that is perfect. What the sister and the brothers are bringing out. There was a clip of a white family, a white couple that tried to do what Issachar does. They tried to be Mexican for a day. They were out there picking watermelons. I think they may have picked 4 watermelons and they had to take a break. You aren't the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, white people. We make America better. We made your 4th of July what it was. Us. You see what we do and you say, well, goddamn, these niggas, man. Oh, what else is it? There was another thing. Let me show you this thing here. What is that thing called? In 1800s in Louisiana, there was a law that prohibited black women from showing their natural hair. Do you know what black women did? They put on head wraps. And they made their head wraps look so glorious that white people got mad at that too. There is nothing that we make everything better. That is who we are. I received the email for Water Sister Mommy Mariah. Let's get this email. Let's get this video. Let's watch this, Akim. Let me pull this up. Salakia. Let's get off of the vaqueros. This is what you want to do, white people.
You guys want to take a break or no?
Do you want to take a break?
I mean, I don't want to slow the progress down, but I'm not going to complain. It's getting hot. My blood pressure's getting low. You get out there in that watermelon field, when you start chunking the melons, you're out in the middle of here. I think you're in the middle of the Sierra Desert. It is no joke. Hard work, hard labor, long, hot. We were out there, what? Felt like 2 hours. How long was it?
About 15 minutes.
15 minutes? Felt like at least 2 hours. How'd you think I did? I think I held my own pretty good.
No, yo no creo que les aguantan ese ritmo.
Oh, yeah. Now, once I got in the groove of things, I was just, bam, you get in the zone, and I started doing the twist method. Did you see that? That's pretty awesome.
That's only fair.
You try some walking watermelon field.
Did y'all see that? Y'all see the water, sis sent it. Sister said, oh, please. Sis, listen, the white man think the Mexicans make hard work look fun. I don't even understand. They make roofing look like, I can get up there and do that. Okay, you're going to look just like this devil right here. You get up there and try to do what Issachar does, you're going to pass the hell out. Listen, I tried it. I posted it on Facebook for all the Akim to see. I could not keep up with Issachar, and I slaved with Issachar. That was my profession as doing the trades, HVAC, plumbing, and electrical. Right? Don't call me and ask me to do no work on nobody. Salaki, that's all I like telling nobody. Parak, no, I did some plumbing, and I don't like listening because I know I'm gonna get calls. Salakia, can you come and take care of this P-trap? No, I can't. I rent houses. Can you come help? Salakia, you're gonna have to pay me some money. Salakia, let me stop. Yes, so that's what I did as a profession, as a slave. I still do it as a slave, helping Issachar with HVAC, plumbing, and electrical. Well, one day I wanted to venture out into flooring. I said, okay, I want to learn this trade thing because I want to get into building houses. I think it's a good profession. It's a good field, and it makes a lot of money. And it's a good trade to teach your children. I have 4 sons. I think it'll be beautiful to teach my sons these things. So here I am trying to learn flooring. I'm trying to learn roofing. I'm learning how to hang drywall and mud drywall. So I'm learning tile bathrooms. I'm learning all this from Issachar. One day, and this was dead of winter. It wasn't even hot outside. It had to be about negative 15 degrees here in Kansas City. And we were on northeast side of Kansas City. And we were building up a condominiums for low-income housing. 7 flights of steps. 7 flights of steps. There was a delivery for the what do they call the flooring? I think it's not linoleum. What kind of it's called like PLC flooring, and they had delivered about 2 pallets worth of 200 boxes, 300 boxes per pallet of this flooring that we had to put in every room, right? I'm watching Issachar and Asher and Zebulon because I work with Hondurans, I work with Guatemalans and La Raza. So all 3. I'm watching them. It's about 7 of us, 8 of us. And I'm like the last one in line because I'm looking at Issachar and Asher and Zebulon. I'm like, okay, I want to see what they do. I want to see how many they get. So, you got to, as a man, you can't let nobody outwork you. So you got to sit there and try to take as many as you see them take. Brother, I am 6'2". These Issacharites are 5'5", Guatemalans 5'6", 5'7" that I'm slaving with. Skinnier than me, most of them. And that says a lot because I'm skinny, right? I'm seeing these little young Hondurans, Guatemalans, and Issacharites pick up 5-6 boxes of these of the flooring that we're about to install from these pallets. And they're going up 7 flights of steps, putting them down, coming right back, getting more. So when it was my turn, I said, okay, they set the tone. So now I got to get 5-6 boxes. Brother, I grabbed those boxes. By the 4th round, I said, I didn't want to quit. So I was like, nah, I ain't about to, I'm going to keep going. By the time we were done unloading those pallets, I had to fall out on the floor in private. I didn't let nobody see me. But brother, I was so embarrassed. I went up there and fell out on the floor. I said, it was the dead of winter. It was the dead of winter. I could not believe how tired. I said, how in the hell does a 5'5", 115-pound Mexican get 6 of these boxes of floors? 6 boxes of them that we're about to install. And I looked on the box. Each box was like 45, 50 pounds. 5 boxes, you do the math. 5 times 5 is 25. 250 pounds up 7 flights of steps. It may have been a little less than that, maybe 45 pounds. Strong as an ox. Listen, ox, strong as a mule. That's the better way to put it, young man. They are strong as a mule. You understand? Strong, damn right. Get the brother in. They are strong as a mule, and they are built like a mule. Brother, I said, and they were so oisy, amigo, oisy. And as soon as we took in these boxes, we passing each other on the steps. And Issachar and Chapin and what's the Guatemalans or what's the Hondurans? Catrachos. The Catrachos and the Chapinos and the La Raza, they passing me on the steps. Oisy, amigo, oisy, amigo, oisy. I'm like, shit, nigga, no, oisy, no. I'm sitting there just, I'm taking these, I'm doing my best because I don't want to tap out. I can't show Issachar I'm weak. I got to keep up with La Raza. Brother, by the time we was finished taking those pallets up there, I fell out. It was dead of winter. I fell out. It was cold. It wasn't hot. I could only imagine if it was 130 degrees outside. Like, they make it look so cool. I said, where in the hell am I at? Like, I am the only non-Spanish-speaking Judite there. I'm the only non-Spanish speaker there. So I had to learn. I had to just pick up the pace. Then I'm watching them, and I have to do what they do. They're smaller than me. Surely they can't do more than me. That's what you think. Brother, them little small Issacharites and those Catrachos and Chapinos, they taking those boxes up, and they just, oisy, amigo, oisy. And them niggas is singing Vicente Fernandez and goddamn Larry Hernandez as they taking up boxes of flooring to the 7th floor. That is the salt of the earth. They make it look so cool. Now, this devil here in Florida, he thinks he can do this job that Issachar does with his fat, slobby, just disgusting self. The white man is just nasty. Ugh. He thinks he can keep up with our brothers the way I thought I could keep up. And I actually did. I waited until after the job was done, and I passed the hell out on the floor. And they had to give me about 15 minutes, get some water, and then I was back up working. This devil, he actually could not keep up. He said he felt like he was out there for 2 hours, and it was 15 minutes. You don't know what it is to be Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. We make everything look cool. Everything. That movie they got, Something the Lord Has Made, about Vivian Thomas, that brother did not go to medical school, yet he was just as gifted as an open heart surgeon at Johns Hopkins. That is who we are. We are just fast learners. We're smart as hell, and we make everything look good. Like I was bringing up about the sisters with the head wrap. That was a law in Louisiana where black women could not wear their hair out because their natural hair intimidated white women in the South. So what did black women have to do? Wrap their hair. General Hyman just taught a class about this. They had to wrap their hair up, and they embroidered the head wrap so much so that was even more glorious than their natural hair. That's the salt of the earth. You can't outdo us. We're going to make everything look, we make oppression look good. That's where the blues come from. You know, everybody loves the blues because of that stupid movie Sinners with that rap, what's it, Michael B. Jordan that all the women love. Michael B. Jordan is going to steal you brothers' women, just like Chris Brown is. Chris Brown and Michael B. Jordan are going to steal your wives, not my wife. Salakia. My wife only has eyes for me. Salakia. Most High in Christ. But they are going to steal your wives. Salakia. They're not as solid as Mommy Mariah. You understand? So Michael B. Jordan, that movie Sinners, everybody is on the blues now because of that stupid movie Sinners. Everybody loves the blues. Do you realize that the blues were slave music? You understand? The blues was slave music. Death don't live here. Death don't have mercy. You got The Sky is Crying, Elmore James, Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, Lightning Hopkins, Mississippi Fred McDowell, Robert Johnson. They were slaves picking cotton in the fields of Mississippi. That's why they sang so good at 18. Nigga, 18 years old. He sounds like he been smoking Marlboros for 50 years at 18. Why? Because he's been picking cotton since he was 5. And now they go and exploit it in Hollywood and make movies and a whole industry off of it. It's called the blues. Well, guess what? The Bible says that the Judah is in mourning. That's the blues. That's the blues. And we made a whole industry off of it. The white man did. Because it's so cool. Like Judites made the blues cool. The blues is picking cotton out. That's why they can play that guitar. So that's why you don't hear music like that no more, because niggas don't pick cotton no more. That's why. If you pick cotton from 5 years old, from can't see to can't see, in the heat of Mississippi, you will be a great bluesman. I guarantee it, brother. I guarantee you will be able to sing like Mississippi Fred McDowell. You got to move. You got to move. They just talking about, listen, the songs that they sing aren't even, it's about nothing half the time, but there's so much meaning in every song, and they were so young when they began to sing it. I think when the Library of Congress went down to Mississippi on the plantation that Muddy Waters was picking cotton on and he was a slave on, he was like 18 years old. That voice never changed. It sounded like he had been smoking Marlboros from the time he was 6 years old and drinking moonshine and corn whiskey from the time he was 6 years old, because he picked cotton from 5. And Mississippi Fred McDowell picked cotton from 5. And what's the B.B. King, one of the greatest bluesmen and guitar players of all time, was picking cotton at 5 years old in the Delta fields of Mississippi. Give Captain Kahuntham Yard a hand. That's Mississippi. You understand? And he's over the South. Barakathaya Hawaii Awashah for Captain Kahuntham Yard. So nonetheless, we make everything look good. Everything we do. The picking cotton turned into the blues, which is just what we were singing on the plantation. Roll, Jordan, Roll. There's another beautiful song I like too. It's a blues song by Blind Willie McCall. And he says, it's nobody's fault but mine. My father taught me how to pray. My mother taught me how to read. I have a Bible in my home. If I don't read it and I don't pray, there's nobody's fault but mine. That's a beautiful song, guy. That's the blues. Well, guess what Blind Willie McCall was doing? Picking cotton blind at 5 years old in Mississippi, in Georgia, in Alabama. And we just made it cool. Now blues is associated with having all the women, drinking all the liquor, wearing cool sunglasses and shades, and having a voice that women love. Women love that deep, raspy voice, like Howlin' Wolf. They love that. The blues is associated with being a vagina-getting man that smokes Marlboros, drinks moonshine, and gets all the women, and he's a Rolling Stone. Salaki, the sister said you hated that movie. I didn't like them pushing that white girl that's half black. Sis, I don't like any Salaki. It's kind, sis. I never saw the movie. I've seen the movie on Facebook because everybody spoiled the movie, and I've seen so many clips, I can just put 2 and 2 together. I don't think I need to go see it, but if you saw it and you said it was a good movie, I take your word for it, sis. It's a good movie. All I'm saying is that Michael B. Jordan is going to steal you women away from your husband. Salakia. I didn't like them pushing that white girl as half black. Ooh, they were doing that in that movie, sis. Yikes. They had a white girl playing a black girl, half black girl. Shocker. Surprise, surprise. Right? Now you see why I wouldn't like a movie like that. I want a movie that just shows slaves. Let me hip you brothers and sisters to something about me. I love slave movies. I'm going to just be honest with you. And I don't like when they have Africans playing slaves. I want to see the tribe of Judah playing. I love to see with slaves just picking cotton and getting their children ripped from their arms. Do you know why I love to see movies like Roots and movies like 12 Years a Slave and movies and shows like the Underground Railroad? Because it does something to black people that oppression in their face doesn't even do. Trayvon Martin was killed, and black people marched, and then we went home. When we look at movies that just continue to show us as slaves, guess what it does to us? It makes us angry. My mother always said, I can't watch movies like that. And I'd say, why, Mom? Why you can't watch movies like that? Because it just makes me so mad. That's why I love those movies. Because whenever Hollywood puts it in our face, the world cannot forget about slavery. You think, why do they always have to put us and portray us as slaves? I have never heard a Jewish person complain when Schindler's List comes on. I have never heard him say that. Say it again, brother. Makes me realize we still in slavery. Give the brother a hand. I love them slave movies because it makes you angry and it makes you understand we are still in this captivity. That's why subconsciously black people can't even watch movies like that. I don't want to see a movie like that. So you'll go see Sinners, which some half a white hoe is portrayed as a black woman. You would love that movie where they got white Irish vampires in Mississippi, but you don't want to see 12 Years a Slave. I see what type of person you are. You want to stay asleep to all of the injustices going on. I don't ever want to sleep. I want to wake the hell up every day. I want to see videos of women, black women, getting their babies ripped out of their womb so I can remember that the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. I don't ever want to go to sleep. I don't want to feel sleep. I want to wake the hell up every day. I love them. Listen, my river tell you, I watch slave movies and slave narratives and the Civil War. I'm obsessed with things like the Civil War. That's why I got so many goddamn Civil War books. I recite the Jefferson Davis secession speech every day because I love the hatred of white people in those movies and in real life because it just always the fervor of the white man is the devil. I want to always keep that at the forefront of my mind and my soul and my heart. The white man being the devil the Bible speaks of is the most important thing to me. I love it because that is what frees our people. Going to sleep and thinking about Rolls Royces and being the best basketball player and being whatever, that's fine, that's good. But our people need to always remember that the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of, and that the salvation that we are going to receive from Christ, that involves Christ unaliving our oppressor. That is what our people need to wake up and realize. So whatever slave movie makes you think about that, watch it every day. I advise it. Watch it every single day. So you can always remember that the oppressor is the devil. Because when Trayvon Martin gets killed and Sandra Bland gets killed, you go into hiding. It seems like you're not angry enough. It's not enough of you in the I.S.U.P.K. Our people should have flooded the school after Trayvon Martin was killed. After Eric Brown was shot in the face by a white St. Louis police officer, every nigga in St. Louis should have followed Captain DeGauga Bar into that school in St. Louis. You went and got high even more. You went and had sex with more whores. You went and watched more movies like Sinners, and you went back to sleep and voted for Barack Obama. You need to watch slave movies more. You need to look at the Jefferson Davis secession speech of 1861, and maybe you will wake the hell up and see just what your oppressor really thinks about you, just what your oppressor really wants. You don't see these ICE raids happening to your brothers, La Raza. You don't see that happening to them. That's what's coming to you next. ICE raids. That's what's happening to our people right now. You're thrown in jail more than any other race of people on the planet Earth, and you're still not awake. You better go watch you a slave movie, Aki. You better go get you a real good slave movie that you can get mad at so you can come into the I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General Yahanna. I don't know what has to happen to y'all, man. What does it take for what is it going to take for the Most High to wake you the hell up? You're still not in the all black? Sis, you still don't have your head covered in the truth? You still don't have your Hebrew name? What's taking you so long? Get the hell in the I.S.U.P.K. That's the only thing that's important in life, is coming into the truth. That's the only thing that should be on your mind. Not making more money, not becoming a doctor, not becoming a lawyer. Find Commanding General Yahanna and come into the I.S.U.P.K. because time is running out. What did the sister say? The Reese Taylor movie. I'm going to give you another one that will make you angry other than the Reese Taylor movie. That's a good one. The story about Khalif Browder. That will make a grown man cry. The Reese Taylor is another one. Give the sister a hand. You better flood your mind with reality, black man. I get Sinners as a movie. It ain't nothing awful about watching movies. But, brother, I don't want anything that's going to rock me to sleep. I want to wake the hell up. I want to watch movies about Emmett Till and movies about us picking cotton. I love those slave, just slave everything. Just call me a slave. So, like, I am slave Malak. Malak, the son of slaves. I love it. Why? Because that is who our people are today, and that's where we come from. And I never, ever want to forget. The Bible says this, remember the days of old. That's in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33. Don't ever forget where you come from, and don't ever forget that it is the reason why you should fight just as hard to get out of that oppression that we come from. That's why we're teaching these classes. That's why we go to camp. That's why we have schools all over the world to wake our people up, to bring them in the truth so our people can change their lives, so we don't go back to the cotton fields of Mississippi, so we don't go back to the cotton fields of Alabama, so we don't have to, so our brothers and sisters from the northern, so-called northern tribe, the Spanish-speaking tribes, don't have to be separated from the abuelos and abuelitas. You got to wake up and make a change in order for that to happen. You got to learn your history. That's why it's Sunday evening history class. Learn your history. Learn that you are better than Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B, and that is more than what you can be more than that. You don't have to be rappers and basketball players. Like, I'm so sick of that. You are better than that, black man. You are better than that Hispanic and Native Indian. You are the salt of the earth. We are the farmer of all things. We're not drug addicts and drug dealers, and we're not Big Meeches, and we're not Larry Hoovers, and we're not the white mafia that we tried to be in the 70s and 80s. We are a wise, intellectual people that can use that wisdom from God, the laws of God, to rule the planet Earth. And with that, just me up here. We are the I.S.U.P.K, start out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother and sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves of the world. Salakia, hold on, give me 1 second. They are here to share themselves of the world. Another 6 months. Salakia, if they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to marry. He or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers chapter 18, verse 21. Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 through 10 means 10th in the Hebrew, ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Most High gives you, give to Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations, I believe, is the Day of Atonement, where we will all equally afflict our souls for the atonement of our nation. Everyone understand? Remind Akim and Agwaf to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black. Boots, shirt, pants, headband, and war scarf. With that, imajim, which means to stand. Imajim Shabbat. Imajim Barak. Yahanna Shemiah Shah Thumb. That was a courtesy salute to the brothers. Salaki Yatmata. Sar, face the sisters. All right, men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Imajim Shabbat. Imajim Barak. Yahweh Shamar Alathan. Bahashim Yahweh Shah. Yajimata. Dismissed.
Patriotism, a message to white America on 9/11.
I just want to know, how much do you love your country?
What's your nationality?
I'm confused.
By wearing this one.
So what my nationality is, so what color all y'all are.
Right. Let me explain. Let me help you understand.
I know. I love all of you.
At one time, Jewish people lived in Germany. You understand that, right?
I'm German as well.
I know. At one time, Jewish. That's why I asked you your nationality. At one time, Jewish people lived in Germany, didn't they?
Did they?
And during World War I, they fought for Germany. They loved Germany.
Really?
Until one day, Adolf Hitler began to exterminate them. And then they turned on their country and went for a land of their own. Well, this is what you have to understand. We have served this stinking country. There's nobody more patriotic than black people. We're the people that die in your wars, build your cities, and raise your children, and bleed in all of your wars and reap none of the benefits. There is nobody more patriotic than us. There is nobody that has served America more than us, until one day we found out that this is the land of our oppressor. This is not our homeland. So we decided to go find our own land. So we decided to go find the land of our ancestors, just like the Jewish people did in Germany. And know what the problem with white people is? You don't respect anybody's humanity except for your own. You don't respect anybody's pain except for your own. You expect Jewish people to hate Hitler and to hate the Nazis, but you can't understand why we should hate you. You can't understand that because you're not human, and you're cruel, and you're selfish. And if you had any love and compassion in your heart, you would know how much you deserve to be hated. If you had any love in your heart, you white people are merciless. And you hate to look at anybody as a human being. How dare you ask us? Have we loved America? We have loved you forever, and you have always hated us. We have loved you consistently for 400 years. We prayed to that black Jesus, and we saluted your flag, and we died in your militaries, and you beat us like dogs. How dare you ask us, have we loved you? I have a question for you. When in the hell have you ever loved anybody but yourself? Give me Ezekiel 35. I'm looking you square in your eye and telling you this, that you are completely cruel. And you know why you're always broke? Because I'm telling you the truth for the first time in your life. Your whole life you thought that you've been compassionate and caring, but meanwhile, you know what you are? Just another white girl standing on stolen ground, reaping the benefits of bloody fathers. That's what you are. Even though you think you're so liberal and so kind, all you are is another child benefiting off the murder of your father. That is who you really are. And you should face it. And you should fall on your knees and beg repentance for your evil, cruel, corrupt, selfish life that you've lived here on the bones of the North American Indian, on the bones of the slaves, on the bones of the Puerto Ricans, on the bones of the Mexicans, on the bones of all the poor people that your father murdered so you could go to college and so you could get drunk and high and have a good time. Your father had to murder for that privilege. You understand that, don't you? Your father had to kill. Your grandfather had to steal so you could live like Pamela Anderson in America. Give me Ezekiel 35. That's the truth. I'm showing you love. That's love. I'm telling you the truth. Ain't that real love?